Okay, so here we go, venturing into the world of the assembly. So I'm going to choose assembly from my new document dialog box, and we are going to crank this thing up. Okay, this is a nerve-wracking moment for me right now. This is me testing my work to see how did I do. I'm going to go here to my computer and just find the pieces that I've been working on for you guys. This is going to be one top slider R3. This is the one we just finished in the previous video. It's going to show up stuck to my cursor. I'm just going to drag my mouse right over here, and I'm just going to let it sit right there in the center. Okay, and there's my piece. It's fixed in space, which we've talked about in class. There's a little F next to it here in the design tree, and then if I right click on it too, I see the word float, which is the opposite of fixed. So this call out here changes depending on whether or not your part's fixed or floating, and since it says float here, that means the option's available, which means it's fixed right now. So that's that. Okay, and then I'm going to go here to insert components, and I'm going to go and browse, and I'm going to find my other piece. Let's see, where's that one? Top slider R2, here she goes, and I'm going to say okay. And this one, I'm just going to casually kind of just sort of drop it in space and see where she lands. There we go. And this one's floating now, so I can grab it and I can move it all around, and I can kind of work it out, put it any which way I want. So next thing I got to do is obviously I have to rotate it sideways, so I'm going to right click on the thing here, and I'm going to go up here to actually, instead of right clicking, I'm going to go to rotate component, and then I'm going to go to here to delta XYZ, and then I'm going to look down here at my my little orientation jack, and I'm going to find the one that's sticking straight up through my model. So it looks like it's Y. Okay, this is a Y up model, so Y is the up down direction. That's also the direction I want to spin my model. Think about the Y as like an axis to spin around. So I'm going to go here to rotate. Okay, if this is sucked up like that, you got to open it up and go rotate, go Y, and then go 90 degrees. Okay, and then just hit apply, and it's going to flip right into position. All right, there we go. So we're getting these things in near each other. All right, so I'm going to bring this guy down a little bit closer and just set it up for, actually I'll flip it up like this here, and we'll kind of get it orientated. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to figure out a way to mate these two things together. So one way to get them just centered onto each other is to actually use the planes that are inside of this model. Remember, these two parts, they're not like regular part files. They each have their own entire design tree attached to them, and inside of that design tree are all the planes that you use to build off the model. So you can now use these planes to help orientate these two things together. So let's find a good way to look at this. Okay, so like for instance, the front plane is in the center of this model here. Okay, now let's look at the other model. All right, now the looks like the right plane is in the center of this model here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to set a mate that lines up each of the planes that are in the center of the model. So between this plane and the right plane here, and watch them slide over. Boom, there you go. So now these two models are perfectly orientated together, centered on each other's axes. This is the final result, the final success of building a model off the origins. Why I've been saying it since the very start. And now the very last mate that I'm going to do, I'm going to actually put a mate just right here on this top surface, and then I'm going to put a mate on this track right here, these little arms, this whole surface here. I'm going to do a coincident mate because in our design, that's how this thing sits. It slides right there. So I'll approve that. All right, now we have these two pieces locked together using mates, and if we grab them, we can slide them, and they hold themselves in place just like the real part. Okay, so time to take a look on the underside here and see what I've got. So let me go ahead and just slide this over to its position and take a look, and it looks like congratulations are in order. The tab on this piece fits in the hole I made. All right, great. There's going to be a whole lot of other adjustments to make. For instance, just taking a look right here, it looks like I've got a little problem with these two pieces smashing together, so there'll need to be an adjustment there. That's a solid problem right there. Let's just take a look over here, and it looks like that's working. This is working. Okay, good. So it's just, let me take a look on this side. All right, so just the overall width of this piece here, it needs to get adjusted. So that's a lot of work. Let's just kind of take note of that and maybe dig back into the part file and take some measurements off this thing and find out what went wrong. But there's your first introduction to just how to get your parts into SolidWorks assembly file, how to mate them together so that they're operating correctly. Look, another thing too. Looks like the height. No, the height is correct there, but the chamfered edges are way off. Yeah, we got some stuff to do up here too. Lots to learn inside of this. So we'll get right into it in our next video. Thanks a lot for watching.